Morning. This was a lesson that I did last night. This guy is a pro, so he's a good player, uh, and just wanted to clear up some myths that I think a lot of people get stuck with. In the fact that this guy had a real issue with the shaft steepening through the transition on the downswing. Big divots, trackman numbers, his attack angle was around about -8, which is a little bit too much for an iron. Really struggled with his driver. Bad shot generally tended to be uh, really open club face at impact, losing the ball to the right, and then a real issue with trying to get a decent ball strike. And really has stemmed through the misconception for a lot of people that by getting the club in this position here on the left hand side where the club shaft appears to be laid off the top of the swing, or pointing left of the target, actually helps you to shallow the golf shaft, if you like, in the transition on the downswing. And in this case it's clearly not the case, and why he was really struggling. But again, that's something that he's been told, but in my opinion, certainly in this case, it's not going to help him. So the golf club, or the golf shaft, if you like, has a centre of mass, or a balance point, or shaft pitch, if you like. Every golfer will always respond to this in the golf swing, and trying to get that balance point back on the direction, or back on line with the force that's being applied. In this case, it would be the hand path. So that's located round about here on the golf club. So I've drawn a simple line here, the blue line, which indicates his hand path, and you can see that the shaft there by this red line is behind that. So everything he's going to feel now by this balance point being behind his hands, if you like, is going to result in the golf club wanting to be pulled back onto that blue line. And you can see here as we go up to the top, that shaft just wants to work back in front, because that balance point is trying to get back onto that blue line. And again, what you can then see is that results in him having to pull the hands right down. So the butt of the club is pulled down to allow that balance point to move forward. You can see there it gets very, very steep into the ball on the downswing, indicated here by this red line here. So this was obviously the first swing. We then moved on to this was his second swing, and we literally changed this within a matter of minutes. Worked a little bit on trying to keep the right arm from bending a little bit too soon, to encourage a little bit more wrist angle. But really, as a better golfer, he really just felt this move. So he would feel the club a little bit more parallel to the target line at the top of impact. I think it would be clear to say as well at the moment, or good to say at the moment, this is by no means a end of product. There's lots that we're still going to work on here, getting rid of this extension of the left wrist here. This should be a little bit flatter. But again, the same line drawn, that same blue line drawn at 65 degrees from the butt of the club back to the ball, by placing that centre of mass now in front of this line, what that then encourages is the shallowing of the golf club on the way down. Again, if we go back to the old one, by his old position. So what he was actually doing was just totally counterintuitive to what he's trying to achieve on his downswing. So again, if I drop the left arm into a sort of 45 position, which is about there, and I do the same on this one, you can see now that shaft angle is much shallower than his original one, and this resulted in now playing a little gentle draw, slight in to out path, with a slightly closed club face to that path, so a much better ball flight. But the object of the lesson really is to make people understand that by feeling the golf club pointing to the left of the target at the top of the golf swing, for me, generally doesn't really help the shallowing of the shaft, or certainly when this shaft points behind this original hand path here. This one is actually a far better way of doing it.